Hello viewers, welcome to this YouTube channel. Today in this lesson we will talk about storage management. So in this video we will discuss that how we can define the storage management in terms of data and how we can manage the data in any programming language. So let's start with PPT. The first slide is introduction about storage management. The runtime refers to the time when an application actually executes. So in this discussion, compile time means everything before runtime, that is compilation, linking and loading. So first question is, what is storage management? Storage management is basically it is useful to understand how storage is managed in different programming languages and for different types of data. So apart from this, as programming languages and environments have become more complicated, managing and storage at runtime has gotten extremely difficult indeed. Systems and algorithms to manage runtime storage are now among the most difficult in existing part. So we have to understand the basic terminology of programming means the compilation time must be there. So this is the actual process of compilation, linking and loading part. Apart from the storage management, we can say the storage management is basically used in different languages. Like we can take an example of Fortran, Pascal and Lisp. So we are talking about the storage management. So basically storage is typically divided into three areas. First is static area, second stack areas and third is heap area. So Fortran basically follows the heap storage management, heap areas, and but there is no recursive call in Fortran. Apart from the Fortran, Pascal is used. Basically, Pascal follow the stack area. It means the stack based storage management. And Lisp used in terms of AI, artificial intelligence, and garbage collection is used in this particular language. So languages implementers decide about the details and programmers do not know about it. So we discuss storage management in different languages. Which kind of language support these actually all the criteria. So these are the storage management phases. There are three phases in storage management. First is initial allocation. We have to allocate the memory before starting our program. This is the initial process of allocation and deallocation. If we are looking for deallocation, we will go for that. Second phase is that is recovery. We have to recover all the codes. If there will be any error, we have to recover we have to perform the recovery part. And the third one is compaction and reuse. We just reuse the code if we make some mistakes, so we can apply for the reusable part. So there are three storage management phases, and this is the actual main slide of this video. I'm talking about the storage management area. So there are three areas. I already told you in recent slides. So there are three areas, but before starting our three areas, I'm just telling you that storage management, it is basically used for managing the storage in various programming languages and for different types of data. So storage is divided into three areas: static area, stack area and heap area. So as you can see, the graphical representation of storage management is static storage management, stack storage management, and third one is heap storage management. So now the static area. What is static area? Static area sometimes called as a static storage allocation that is appropriate when the storage requirements are known as at compile time that are known at compile time. For a compiled linked language, the compiler can include the specific memory address for the variable or constant in the code it generates. So we can say it may be adjusted by an offset at link time. For example, code in languages without dynamic compilation Another example, like all variables in Fortran, fourth, global variable in C, ADA, algol, and constant in C, ADA, and algol. So this is the actual concept of static area. So static area once used the word binding to mean an association of a property with an entity in a programming language. All binding of storage location to program names occur at compile time. The binding are fixed and unchanged throughout runtime. So first time static area is proposed for the language of Fortran languages up to 1977. It is a simple model, easy to set up and very little to manage at runtime. Another static areas point, like static storage allocation. In static allocation, names are bound to storage location, and static storage allocation, if the memory is created at compile time, then the memory will be created in static area and only once. So memory will be allocated only once. This is the main point. Another points about static area, means static allocation support the dynamic data structure. That means memory is created only at compile time and deallocated after program completion. And there are two drawbacks of static area, like the static areas drawback. The drawbacks with static storage allocation is that the size and position of data objects should be known at compile time. This is the another drawback. And other drawback is the recursive procedure. So basically static area does not support recursive call or recursive procedure. So we can conclude the part of static area, like allocation during translation, that remains fixed throughout execution. It doesn't allow recursive subprogram. It's very simplest method. Another term is no runtime storage management, and lastly efficient. It is very efficient in COBOL and Fortran types of languages. Second term is stack area. Stack area, we can say stack based storage allocation is appropriate when the storage requirements are not known at the compile time. This is the actual benefit. So but the request obey a last in first out discipline. So in this area the complete process is defined as a stack model. So basically stack area in this section in storage is organized as a stack form. Activation record are pushed and popped, and activation record contains the locals so that they are bound to fresh storage in each activation record. We are talking about the activation record. When a function is called, all storage needed to the function is allocated on the stack in the section that is called as known as activation record. Activation records are the active variables, or it can be your active data. The value of locals is deleted when the activation ends, and it works on the basis of LIFO, last in first out. As you know the structure of stack, LIFO, last in first out, and this allocation support the recursion process. So we can say stack based allocation is normally used in C, C++, ADA, Algol, and Pascal for local variables. So we can say stack based storage allocation is basically used for all local variables in a procedure, and for procedure call it can be your call information. So it allow for recursion procedures and also allocates data only when the procedure or function has been called, but it is reasonably efficient at the same time. Sometimes Java use a stack for allocating frames for each method invocation. So parameters and local variables are stored in the stack frame. So this is the actual description of stack area. Another point is allocation on the stack can be used as a simple or as a modifying a single stack top pointer, and deallocation is typically just as easy. So implementing function using only static storage, as was done in Fortran, doesn't allow recursion functions, whereas the stack allocation support recursion function. And last point is recursion. We are concluding the stack area. stack area, it means this method use storage more efficiently since local variable for all defined functions are allocated using static allocations. So we are just concluding the stack areas that this is the simplest runtime storage management technique, and based on the nested last in first out structure in the subprogram calls and return. We can say stack is very fast access. It do not have to explicitly deallocate variables. Space is managed efficiently by operating system, but memory will not become fragmented. Local variables only for stack system. And there's the one drawback of stack area. It means we are talking about the stack size. So there are some limitations on stack size. So the problem may arise in the form of overflow stack, but variable cannot be resized in stack area. So we concluded this part, stack area. Now we move to the next one, heap based storage allocation. The most flexible allocation scheme is heap based allocation. Here storage can be allocated and deallocated dynamically at arbitrary times during program execution. So this will be more expensive than either static or stack based allocation. Heap based allocation is used in any languages such as Schemes and Smalltalk, and for objects in Java. Heap area, sometimes we can say that is known as dynamic allocation. So memory used for dynamic allocation of data objects in somewhat unstructured manner in called heap. So in between, as you can see the diagram, this diagram shows the actual free space between heap and stack. So heap and stack deals with the free space. Apart from this, heap is relatively slower access and variable can be accessed globally. No limit on memory size. This is the actual difference between stack and heap. If we are comparing these two, stack versus heap, we can say the limitations on stack size in stack area, but there is no limitations on memory size in terms of heap. This is the representation of heap storage allocation. The heap is a region of storage in which subprogram can be allocated and deallocated. And the second point is chunks of memory are allocated to store certain kinds of data objects. Memory can be stored and removed from the heap in any order. So it is known as dynamic memory. We can allocate the request according to that, and there is no compulsion, there is no as such, there is no sequence in this storage allocation. So this is the big advantages of heap. So heap basically it has larger in size, it is larger in size, and slower access allocation and deallocation. This is another drawbacks of heap storage allocation. So this is the representation of heap memory representation. If we have a program and program is divided into number of items, so we can allocate number of items according to the user requirements. So there are some operations in heap based storage allocation, like it is a mark sweep, copying, and generationals, incremental, and referencing counting. So heap memory is dynamically allocated memory is located in heap memory, but the heap memory is larger than the stack memory. This is the structure of runtime memory. We can consider the stack areas, static areas, and heap area according to the memory address. The memory address is mapping from 0 to n number of space. We can allocate the number of memory to the variable to the data according to these storage allocation, static allocations, stack allocations, and lastly heap allocation. And we can see the diagram of stack, heap, and static. So in the replacement of static, we are talking about the program coding. So we can say the program coding in this section text. After initializing the coding, we can say that is the initialized data. The code will be converted into the static data. So static data sometimes is treated as a initialized data or uninitialized data. After getting the initialized data and uninitialized data, we can say heap, stack, and heap deals with the command line argument functions, and all the dynamic variables will goes up down. So we are concluding this PPT, like we are talking about the application memory. So first we are talking about the code as instructions. Static or global memory allocation sometimes is treated as a global variables. After that, stack as a functions calls and local variables. And finally, heap is a, we can say heap is a free memory, or it can be a dynamic free memory. So this is my video. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, please share it and subscribe my channel. So thanks for watching.